Ladies and gentlemen, or should I say, gamers. Today, I cooked up a new build. You know, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I've asked Twitch chat for name and everyone agreed we're gonna call this one the Beastyqt build. Never done before, never done, nobody's done it. I just won 3 games in a row. Even if someone did it, they haven't won any games, right? I've kind of been thinking what I can do different with some of the civs or play them in a different way. Ayyubid is played either like some aggression in feudal into fast castle or just straight up fast castle. So I wanted to do a different Ayyubid build, and I've been testing quite a bit with, or not quite a bit, I tested like 3 games with Gamba Wing, and I can't because it's too RNG. Let's not talk about that. But I figured 2 TC Ayyubid might be pretty good, because my thought process was, well, Abbasid, obviously 2 or 3 TC is really good, and you have very similar units, Camel Archers to Desert Raiders, so there's no reason why it shouldn't work. So I decided to give it a go, and I'm going to show you guys 3 different games. I'm going to show you a game against Mongol, game against English, and a game against China. So like how I would play against each one of those civs. And the interesting part about this is the wing that I'm aging up with is not the one you expect. So I'm not going to be aging up with Eco Wing or Military Wing or Bazaar Wing or whatever wing. I'm actually going to age up with Culture Wing from Fast Age Up, and I'll explain why in a second. So what you want to do is the moment the game starts, you're going to build your House of Wisdom, you're going to build a little house, and you're going to pull 3 workers on gold. And that's your gold mining, because you only need 125 gold to age up. We're going to be aging up with Culture Wing Advancement. Now, before we get any further, I'm going to explain why. So I have tried different wings a couple of days ago. So Dervish Wing or Logistics doesn't make sense, because with 2 TC, you want to get the second TC as fast as possible. This doesn't really help you. Bazaar Wing doesn't really help you. You want to build a second TC. Advisor Wing, again, doesn't really help you. You know, you get Attabegs, but you want TC as fast as possible. So the only, and the Blacksmith Wing, same thing. So the only real option is these 3 wings, or these 4 wings, I guess. So Military Wing can be used, but again, you could potentially put some pressure on your opponent, and I can see it being used in some matchups, but you lose like a villager or 2 because your TC is delayed because you're going for this wing. This is probably the second best wing that you can go for. And the reason for that is you get 3 villagers and your bears give extra food. So it kind of boosts your eco a little bit more. But what I found out is if I go this wing instead of Culture Wing Advancement, I actually end up with 1 less villager at 7 minutes, which is pretty interesting, because your age up takes longer and you also need more resources to age up. And last but not least, I tried the Economic Wing Industry that gives you 350 wood. This is simply not worth it, and it boils down to math. So if you go for this wing, you get 350 wood. The problem is you're aging up a lot later, because this wing takes 2 minutes to age up. This wing takes 1 minute and 36. Even though you get 350 wood, you're also wasting more resources, because this only costs 225 and 125 gold, right? So you don't need to build a mining camp, you don't need to build a mill. So because you're not building a mining camp and you're not building a mill, you're saving 100 wood initially, right? So basically I tried all the variations, and I like Culture Wing Advancement the most. Against most civilizations, there are some matchups where I would be aging up with the Eco Wing for villagers, but I'll talk about that in the second game. So, as you can see, I'm building villagers, and I'm also almost close at the age up. So I only need 125 gold, which I already got, and then we need 225 food, which we'll get in a second, and I'm starting the age up at 131 to feudal age. So, which is obviously extremely fast age up. To put in perspective, he is now only building barracks, right? I don't know what his vision is like. Okay, he hasn't scouted across the map. So he's only now building barracks. I'm already aging up. Now, against Mongol, it's an interesting one, because any civ that builds spearmen in Dark Age, like HR Might or Mongols or whatever other civ, it's actually a waste because you don't mine gold, so they're not really denying anything, right? But for the Mongol, the decision to go for spears comes before they find out what you're doing, right? So because I'm playing against Mongol, what I'm gonna do, I have these 3 trees here and I have 50 wood. So with these 3 trees, I have 500 wood. So all I need to do is make sure I gather 350 stone before he arrives with his spearmen, if he was to tower rush me or whatever else. So I'm going to use 7 villagers here, and I'm chopping down wood. The age up is halfway done. He is not even... He's now moving across the map. And I had a little bit of a chat after the game with Lash, and he said he was confused and didn't know what I was doing. Okay, so he comes here. Okay, he was going to tower rush, but he sees this, and I think that he's assuming that I'm going barracks. But then I aged up, so I think he's like, oh shit, what's happening? Because this is a very uncommon build. This is a 3 minute and 15 age up, by the way. Very uncommon build. And let's say he was arriving with spearmen, right? Let's say spearmen were here. I already gathered enough stone for the age up, so it does not matter. And now I'm just going to chop down the wood, and I'm going to make a town center. Now, where to make a town center, I'm still kind of playing around with it. There's a lot of options. You can see him go back, because I think he maybe thinks there's going to be archers, and now he sees stone. So he's probably like, oh, it's 2TC. So if we pause right here, I am so far ahead already, right? Like, this is almost an auto win how far ahead I am. I'm aged up. I'm making a second TC. He hasn't even started aging up. The TC start was at 416. Now, if the spearmen were here, which I didn't know where the spearmen were because I saw the barracks, so I didn't want to risk, so I just made a TC here. If I knew the spearmen were in the base, maybe I would make a TC here just to have TC on the gold, you know, for protection. So, I'm aging up now. And another thing you can do is you can just simply build a house, because I had 46 wood and I could chop 14 more and build a house. But I am now pop capped, but by the time the TC finishes, it's going to give me that extra supply, so I'll be fine. There we go. And now, look at this. We're both going to be in feudal, except I am on 2 town center. That's a pretty good position to be. Now, you might say the age up is wasted because it didn't give me anything. What age up did give me is a lot of villagers. So even though I didn't go eco-wing growth, I still got 4 villagers extra than any other 2TC build can at 7 minutes into the game. Okay, so that's the important part. And another reason why I like Culture Wing into eco-wing is when I go castle, I can actually age up with Eco Wing and get 7 more villagers. Which is crazy, right? Like, even if your opponent goes to DC, let's say it's another civ, goes to DC, you go to DC, you age up with Eco Wing, and you're ahead 7 villagers. Boom, just like that. So what was my plan now? Now I'm seeing that he's aging up. And I want to see if he's going to all in, or if he's going to trade, or, you know, go castle or whatever else. Now the reason why now you want to, by the way, so I wasn't sure if he's tower rushing me, so I made archer ranges to try find where the tower is and make a ram, because obviously I can do that. So I was just trying to defend, but one thing you want to do is after you get second TC, you want to try and get the golden age as fast as possible, because you get 10% gathering rate for all the resources with your villagers, which is obviously really, really good. And it's very, very cheap to get. I just need to build 2 more houses or buildings or whatever. So, one thing to note is from here on out, again, I'm kind of responding to my opponent, because the way I see it is I'm ahead, so I'll just respond to what he is doing and not what I'm doing, right? Or not what my plan was, but I'll just react to what he's doing. So here I'm going to see a trade. There's the market. And he had another market here already. So what I decide to do here is let's just fight in feudal and let's just commit, right? So I started making stables. And I'm just gonna make a lot of units. Now the cool part about this build is if the opponent goes fast castle, like most civs when they go to TC and the opponent goes fast castle, you can actually get screwed pretty badly because they can go like castle and man-at-arms or something and you're kind of gonna be in a lot of trouble. But just like Ayyubid, with Ayyubid you're gonna have camels, aka desert raiders, so you cannot actually lose to like man-at-arm cheeses and stuff like that. So yeah. Okay. So now I have 8 on gold, and I'm just gonna get my eco upgrades. I'm gonna start making horsemen. I'm gonna start making some desert raiders and do a push. Now the cool thing is, just like you can play Ayyubid 1 TC with some units into fast age up, I played the TC 2 TC in this game the same way. So I'm gonna make some units. I'm gonna push. I'm gonna force my opponent to make a lot of units, and then I'll just age up behind it. So he's doing a little push here, but you can see I have a lot of units. He has to run. Doing some harassment all around, securing around my base, and so on and so forth. Now, I would advise you to not try gather berries if you can until you reach castle. So, preferably, instead of going for this, get the deer. Now, if you're getting all in or you're in a lot of trouble, obviously just get berries. But if you could save up berries for your eco wing, it will give you 100 extra food per berry. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna get 600 extra food if you, you know, do not collect the berries completely. So, and obviously you can get 600 here, 600 here, 600 here, 600 here, which is a crap ton of more food out of nothing. So if you look at the worker count, it's looking pretty good for me. He is double market trading as well. But my TC has been up a lot longer, which is very nice for me. And now we're both spamming units. And like I said, I can slowly age up because I have really, really good eco. And you're usually not used to Ayyubid having really good eco because you usually play Ayyubid 1 TC. But, yeah, it's quite nice. So now I'm going to go eco wing. And I'm going berries here because I gathered all these deer, and look what I'm going to do. So instead of just making this, I'm going to put 1 villager on this berry, 1 on this, 1 on this, 1 on this, 1 on this, and then add 2 on this one, so that they don't gather out the berries. So when the age up completes, I get the bonus 600 food on these. So that's something that you can try to use to your advantage. And now, as I'm aging up, I'm getting the rest of the upgrades, getting some more production. My eco is looking really, really good. And my plan is, he did some harassment here, which was annoying to deal with, but I dealt with it. Now, what my goal here is to just start making camel lancers and archers, and just do a big push, because, you know, Mongol is trading, but he can't wall, right? So it's a lot easier for me to harass. So if you look at the worker count now, mind you, again, he is on 2 markets. Look, he's got 1 market here, and the other market is, I don't know where. Oh, I destroyed 1, so he moved the other one there. Okay, so he was up in 2 markets up until this point. So now I'm producing camel lancers, I'm producing archers. My gold expired, so I'm just gonna go here. And if you look at the income that I have right now compared to him, and again, he is trading 1.4k, 900, 855. If we compare the incomes, he has about 2,000 income, and right now I have like 3,100 income, right? So, yeah. Playing Ayyubid like this is very similar to playing Ayyubid, but you're just a bit more aggressive. And now, with veteran archers, look how many units I have. It's very, very easy to push them back. I also got all my upgrades. And again, the amount of economy you have is not something you're used to, because Ayyubid is mostly played 1 TC. But 93 villagers already. I'm gonna get all the relics as well. And now we're gonna do a push. So, if you look at the supply, it's just going up because I'm just mass producing units. And even with all these villagers, because of the eco wing, I still haven't run out of food. I still have this berry patch, I still have a couple of deer here, and a full berry patch here, and 39 on wood, or actually 41 on wood. So even if I do run out of food, I can transition to farms very, very quickly. Now, Tower of the Sultan, I want to mention this because a lot of people in the chat earlier thought that I was like memeing or whatever. Tower of the Sultan is very good when opponent has massive ranged units because you need melee units to kill it. But let's say the opponent does have melee units, in this case Beastyqt. This thing has 800 HP, so even if Beastyqts go on it, it will tank for your archers, right? So it's like a wall, but it also shoots and does a lot of damage, and archers don't do much against it. And it serves as a ram at the same time, so it's like a big ram. Now, if I went Mangonel, I could have done that too, but Mangonel can be, especially at higher levels, can be out-microed in Castle quite a bit, and I feel Tower of the Sultan, if you can choose whether to make a Mangonel or a Tower, I'll always go for a Tower, even though it's a bit more expensive. So, as we're approaching like 18-19 minutes into the game, I want you to pay attention to the situation in the game right now, right? 107 workers, we're at 18 minutes, 107 workers, I'm full producing units, 54 archers, I got 4 relics, and I'm gonna get this 5th one as well. I'm getting sacred sites, and I have insane income right now, which I can do whatever I want with it. If I actually stop making units for like 30 seconds, I can just go Imperial, and I will go Imperial with the military wing, because it gives you 7 Desolators every 2 minutes. For the rest of the game, which is really good wing to age up with. We're gonna make 2 Tower of Sultans, and I am almost maxed out, and if you look, my opponent is at 100 supply. Now the interesting thing is, if you look at destruction value or destroyed value, it's not that different, but still, if you compare the supply here and supply here, I have way better eco. So now we're just going to do a little push here. Still maxed. And he calls GG. So, I've been playing 2TC Ayyubid, like I said, for about probably 7, 8, 9 games. And I think it... Not that it can work. Anything can work. I think it's pretty good. You just need to get used to playing it. Because it's not quite like Ayyubid, but it's not also like other Civs 2TC. It's unique in its own way. Now I'm going to show you 2 more games. We're going to skip through the build order part because we've kind of covered that. So I'm just going to talk about different matchups. This new Ayyubid meta seems very strong. Well, it's called, if you guys didn't know, it's called the Beastyqt build. So just, you know, spread the news. So this was English versus Ayyubid. Now, I will say the spawn that I had this game was really good, and I don't deny that. But I just want to give some thoughts about this game from my point of view. Because I realized something when I was playing this game. Obviously, I haven't done this exact build versus every Civ, so I'm not sure how it plays out against every Civ. But something I've learned this game. So, going for the fast age-up wing will give you faster TC and more economy. But if you need to make units immediately against some Civs, like English, in order to not get kind of just mass longboat and die, I think it's better to go some other wing, and you will see what I mean by that. Now, if you're playing against French or JD, I would still say go for this build, because by the time the night arrives, you will have your TC already started / done, so you don't need to make spearmen or desolators or whatever to protect your villagers building TC. So that's the benefit of this. And also, if you play against boom Civs, you can go this, because this will give you the fastest TC possible and the best economy possible. Now, why do I think it's not good against English specifically? Well, English doesn't arrive until quite a bit later. So if you look here, are slowly walking towards my base. I have enough for TC now. If I went for Eco Wing, which I think is probably the best option against English, if I went for Eco Wing, it would give me 3 extra villagers and it would give me 50 food per berry. So that's a nice little bonus. My second TC would be delayed, but I would be able to transition to military a lot faster because of those 3 villagers. So now I have enough for town center. But what I could have also done is, if I went Eco Wing, my age-up would be a bit later, probably around his time, and I would just gather out the stone, and by the time he comes to my base, I would still build a TC like on the wood line or like right here somewhere safe. So even when he arrives and the TC is not done, he can't really punish it. But then you got 3 extra villagers immediately that you can work with to give you more eco. And also you get a little bit more food, which if the opponent is going for Council Hall, having more food is always going to be better because you might run out of food. Now, this is the problem in this situation that I just talked about. You don't know if your opponent is going to go Council Hall or King. So I was a bit surprised he went for the Council Hall. But that's something that you gotta do based on what people do in your leagues. So if you're going for, if all your opponents are going like Council Hall, or like 90% of your opponents are going Council Hall, I would say go Eco Wing, and then just continue the build order by getting stone and then getting a second TC into army. If most of your opponents are going for King, I would say do the Culture Wing, because same principle applies if you were playing against a Knight Civ, where by the time the King arrives and tries to do some damage, your TC is already done. And even if he's going second TC, then yours will be faster, your eco is going to be better, you're going to have Golden Age, which is going to give you even better income, and then you can age up to castle faster than him. So, here we go. So I just want to speed through to show you how I dealt with this. And again, the spawn this game was really good for me. But if you set up your TC on the wood line, there's nowhere he can actually harass now. So I'm just chilling right here. I also think maybe one stable into like multiple archer ranges would be good here, because if you're surrounded by your opponent, no matter what matchup, you don't really want to commit to a lot of horsemen, because you will run out of food a lot faster. So what I could have done is just go to mass archers. It would cost me more wood, but less food. And the moment I saw his army over here, I went for a little tower to start getting my upgrades. So I'm gonna speed through. He's now gathering gold because he wants to make blacksmith. And as you can see, if you put your TC on the wood line, there's nowhere he can actually push, right? And another thing I did is, because English is very immobile with their units, I just sent like 5 workers on this berry patch over here, and soon I'm gonna send more on this berry patch, because it's very unlikely it gets scouted. And even if it does, let's say I lose all 5 of them, I'm still very far ahead in economy, so I think it's worth the risk. If you're getting all in, then you're at the risk of losing all your, or running out of food. I'm getting blacksmith, he's getting siege engineering. I'm just gonna speed up. I'm getting blacksmith upgrades immediately, because I know we're going to be fighting soon. Meanwhile, I was trying to do some run-bys with my horsemen. I killed, eventually I started killing some units here and there. He's producing now men-at-arms. And he's going for rams to kill my production buildings. And at this point, it's okay if you lose your town center. So some people try to over-defend. Like, some people stand here and they're like pulling villagers to kill rams. You don't need to. You're like, look at the economy. I'm already 18 villagers ahead, so I don't need to defend it, because I must like save the second TC. It's okay. You can lose it. He goes back. I didn't lose a single villager there, and yeah, I'm just chilling. Now I'm ahead. I have better eco. I'm producing more units. I have better eco upgrades too. And I'm just trying to do some run-bys with these guys, trying to do some damage. There's my villagers on this side. And this is a game that, like I said earlier in the previous game, if you're at risk of running out of food, just gather the berries. Don't be like, oh, I need to save them for the economic wing growth. Like, if you hold this, you won, because he's all in. So it doesn't matter if you gather out berries at this point. Add some wood chopping in the back, because this got kind of blocked. And add some wood chopping on this side. I'm starting to wall a little bit, because I see that his army is here. And now he probably didn't expect me to have this many units. Oh, lost workers because I'm shit. And now look at that army. 28 longbows, 70 spearmen versus 46 archers and 18 horsemen. Now, 17 spearmen is not enough to hold this amount of horsemen, especially because the archers will shoot twice and pretty much kill all the spearmen at this point. So as I kill that, I'm slowly trying to age up. You can see my eco, even though it's producing units, I was able to age up. And because he has a lot weaker eco, not only he has less workers, he has less army, and he has slower age up. He's got farms. I do a little counter push, but he has the base set up in a way that if I push here, I'm gonna end up getting... I might even win the fight, but I feel like I might potentially throw the game because he's gonna have network buff and there's a lot of longbows and stuff. So I just decided to go back. I'm still producing units. I'm aging up with economic wing as well. I make a mangonel immediately, or manganic, and I just get archer upgrade, horseman upgrade, plus the ranged attack, plus the ranged armor, and Sultan's Mamluks, which is a really strong upgrade. And I just decide to do a counter push before he gets any space to delay the game or do anything about the big push. And I am almost pop capped again, by the way. 18-19 minutes, I'm almost pop capped even with all that pressure. So I just do a push here. My archers are doing really well. He doesn't have like armor chat upgrade for his men at arms because he just doesn't have resources for it. I make more mangonels, because why not? I know he has a lot of longbows, so I just go for 4 manganics. And this is what's really good with Ayyubid, especially against English. You can obliterate the farms really easily. Look at that. That was 3 manganic shots and all the farms are gone. So you can absolutely ruin his economy. And now, it doesn't really matter what he does because I have 70 archers. I can pretty much kill him with 70 archers and 4 manganics without horsemen. So he pushes through here, but obviously that's not going to work. So he taps out. Now I'm going to show you another game, which was a bit of a weird one, and I actually don't know what people play in lower leagues with China, but this kind of play style that I'm about to show you from China is something that people have been experimenting at high level. So it's a bit of a weird game, but I just want to show you just how strong Ayyubid economy is when you play like this. Going up with Blacksmith wasn't better? No, that wing sucks. So this is a game where something funny happens. So the meta with Ayyubid at the high level is to go for fast castle and berries at the start. Which, this was the first game I've done with this build today. And I went with berries, but you should not go with berries. You should do it how I explained it in the first game, okay? Just so you know. So just do whatever I did first game, ignore this build order. But this is the funny part. So he goes for barracks because Ayyubid usually goes fast castle and berries, so you can actually deny both and be pretty annoying by opening spearmen. So he opens spearmen, right, to try harass me, but because I'm going for the culture wing advancement, I actually don't need gold, and I instantly go to mine stone. Now if I was Abbasid, and I was aging up, he would say, oh, okay, he's gonna go second TC. But because this build is so uncommon, he doesn't even check for the stone because nobody ever goes second TC with Ayyubid. So I'm just getting my stone for free. Even though he has spearmen, he's not even checking. I'm chilling, right? And what he's most likely thinking is I'm gonna age up and go archer rangers or something. But I don't do that. I gather enough stone. You can see he's trying to torch this. And I just get my second town center. You can see he's checking the gold. He's still checking the gold. He's like, is he rushing castle or what's happening? So I just decided to go for TC here. Now I didn't like this actually. I think I should have gone for TC like here or here. I think here is good too. In this case, because I'm not rushing to get gold, I just want to get more wood to either defend the all-in or just to not have to build a lumber camp, right? So I generally will not most likely be going for TC on the gold. because I just don't think it's needed, and also I don't really like putting TC forward, the second TC forward, because you can get rammed very easily. So we're gonna speed through this part. So what my goal is right now is I left some villagers on gold because I want to get upgrades, and I'm gonna put a lot of villagers on wood because I don't know what he's doing. I'm gonna swap more villagers in a second. So what I'm trying to scout now is he all-inning me? Is he going second TC, or is he rushing castle? And the build that he did, like I said, is a bit of a weird one if you're not playing against Chinese players at the high level, but he went pro scouts with China, and pro scouts with China and Zhu Xi have been gaining popularity recently. So I actually did not, I saw stable, but for some reason it didn't click with me at all. So I thought he's going horseman, spearman, all in or something. So what I did is I went double stable and went desert raiders to try defend horseman, spearman, because I thought that's the best response. I saw that he killed my deer. I'm starting a little wall here. And then when I moved across the map, I was like, okay, he's not attacking. I check stone. Okay, no second TC. And then I see the scouts. And I'm like, okay, he's going pro scout into most likely fast castle because I haven't seen a single unit. I see this and I'm like, okay, that makes sense. So what I do with these desert raiders, I don't keep them at home. I immediately push and I do some walling here so that if he goes lancers, he cannot just run up to my base and kill my stuff. And behind this, I'm getting +1 range attack and I'm just gonna slowly age up. I'm not panicking. I'm not rushing age up like a lunatic and skipping units and everything. I'm still producing some desert raiders because even if he goes palace guards, I can just hide him forever. If he goes knights, I can add more desert raiders and just fight or lancers with desert raiders. So I'm just chilling. I killed all his deer so that pro scouts, he has to go manually click them here. And yeah, I'm just aging up. And if you look at the worker count, I'm already in a really good spot. So I'm still making some desert raiders. I'm aging up with the eco wing, and again, look at that. I didn't gather out any of the berries, and now all the berries, especially on Lipany, by the way, 100 or 600 extra food, 600 extra food, 600 extra food, 600, well actually this is more, this is 8 here, 800, 600 extra food, just because of that wing. Now, I see him doing a big push here. I upgrade my desert raiders. I'm getting archer ranges, so now the plan is to go either camel lancer plus horseman or camel lancer or horseman, sorry, and archers and crossbows. But what I actually wanted to do, if you look at my resources, I actually wanted to rush into Imperial. Now, the reason I wanted to do that is the usual follow-up to these fast castle builds is to get relics and then go for TC of your own or even 2 TCs. So what I try to do is kind of cut a corner, and while he's getting his second or third TC, I wanted to go Imperial, and then I get even more economy from this because I'm going to be getting a lot of free resources. And if we look at the worker count, it is crazy different, right? I'm crazy far ahead right now. I think I got only 1 relic, by the way. Yeah, he got 4, I got 1. Okay. He's trying to harass here. I managed to kill these guys pretty quickly because desert raiders absolutely destroy them. I lose the second TC again, just like last game. I say, okay, I got my value. I'm chilling. I'm not in a rush. And here I notice he's going back, so I assumed, okay, he's probably transitioned to more TCs, which he did. He went 3 TC. Song Dynasty to catch up with my economy. So, I am aging up right now, and again, doing a little stone wall here. I'm gonna push the sides very soon. My army is pretty big, and the moment this age up finishes, like I said, I'm getting just further and further ahead. Horsemen are upgraded, and if we look at the eco count, 98 to 88, 62 versus 38. Upgrades are pretty similar, but now I'm getting Imperial upgrades, right? So it's obviously going to be better for me. And I decide to just start pushing. And yeah, I kind of got map control back. I got to keep on the gold. And what I can do right now is make siege and do a big push. Or I can just block the big golds and play with that. I can, you know, do either or. There's a little Manjanique. I am almost at max supply. And I just decide to push right here. There is 3 Nest of Bees. Was it 3 or 4 in total? 3 Nest of Bees. I just decide to go for it. I get a nasty shot on these. Because I'm shit, but it is what it is. I kill the rest of them with the horsemen, and now Elite Desert Raiders, look at their armor. 11 melee armor and 5 ranged armor. And I haven't even gotten the last upgrades. And that's because of the infantry support, which is their version of the Abbasid one. So Abbasid camels give bonus armor to infantry. For Ayyubid, the infantry gives bonus armor to camels. So right now, these Desert Raiders are just free production, right? They came out of nowhere from the landmark. Not out of nowhere, from the landmark. So I'm pushing here, I kill the TC, I'm making a ram, and I'm just preparing for a big push through the middle, making some culverins to kill this Barbican. And once again, if you look, I'm almost pop cap. I'm making a lot of stuff, I'm getting biology, my economy is really, really good. If you look at resources per minute, I have a lot more than he does, even though he has 4 relics and taxes. I go for the little Sultan Tower. Culverins are doing work on the keep. And it's looking really, really good. So now what I want to do is just get all the upgrades that I can. Get elite, biology, and then get incendiary arrows, silk bowstrings, and so on and so forth. Second TC goes down. He's trying to hold with siege, but again, siege is not what it used to be. Plus, culverins can actually snipe them. And I got some horsemen doing the work as well. And yeah, that's it. So Ayyubid going kind of toe-to-toe with Chinese eco. Now, what would happen if he went to town center? Because I know some people might be like, well, if he went to TC, his economy would be better. So Ayyubid is very similar to a mix of HRE and Abbasid. And the reason for that is I could go very fast castle after second town center and start aging up in order to try to get the relics. But behind it, I can make Desert Raiders. So even if the opponent ages up first, I will have Desert Raiders to have map control. And my opponent will most likely be trying to go for Knights or Spearmen or something like that, which Desert Raiders will both beat. So you can kind of get map control and do a fast age up. Yeah, I think this playstyle is quite interesting. I definitely suggest you guys to try it out. I don't think it's super complicated to play, but I think it can be really, really good. Especially, I think the strength of it comes from people not really ever facing Ayyubid to town center. So they might just not know how to play against it, or they might be like, wait, he's not mining gold. What is he doing? What's going on? Kind of thing. So that's it. My suggestion is try it out, especially if you're like an Abbasid player and you want to still play this like 2TC style with another Civ. Ayyubid is obviously very similar, a bit different, a bit more aggro than Abbasid, but I think it has some really, really good potential. And Ayyubid is actually the lowest played Civ, and there's no reason for that, because Ayyubid is a very strong Civ. So I saw that recently in the ladder stats, and Ayyubid, I think, was the least played Civ in AOE4, which is kind of crazy because it's a really, really, really good Civ. So try it out, test it out, and see how you like it. This was Cutie Patootie Booty with Beastyqt. YouTube gamers, check me out on Twitch. I'm probably live right now making more guides. If you're watching on Twitch, let's keep going.